Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B Ward, this is the Post Mortem Show. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD. And today, as suggested by listener Marc Bartlett, who didn't necessarily suggest this topic, but what he said is, why don't you guys do a top 5 from individual places, like top 5 from a certain country? So today, we're going with the top 5 French horror movies of all time.
The wee-wee and the doo-doo of horror.
Dom has his little funny hat on.
Yeah.
I have a baguette in my back pocket.
I sodomized like 3 boys and ate a horse.
That's pretty much what they do in France?
I mean, that's pretty much what I do most days.
In preparation for this episode, I haven't bathed in a week.
Nice.
And I've been dumping my pee-pee and my poo-poo out the window in the street.
I shat on a prostitute.
That wasn't because of that's not because of the top 5 French films. That's just Dom's Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so top 5 French movies. And joining us today, returning guest, my good buddy and haunted house horror experience extraordinaire connoisseur.
Speaking of shitting on prostitutes.
My buddy Jason Carrillo. How's it going?
Very well.
So yeah, we brought Jason back because it is the season.
Which season is that?
Halloween.
That's right.
So Jason's going to talk a little bit about some haunted houses for this year, just like last year, and he's going to chime in with us because French horror is his favorite genre.
I love it.
Of any kind of movie. So when we decided on this top 5, and he suggested a couple movies for me to watch, which I did, which we will be reviewing, so he's going to kind of crack wise with us and chime in on those movies, as well as give us his top 5 French horror movies. But before we get into all that, we got a little bit of horror news. Horror news. Dom, I got something for you.
Oh, yeah?
Dom has a history with a certain fucking alien look-alike Smashing Pumpkins frontman, Billy Corgan.
Fucking Billy Corgan.
Now known as William Patrick Corgan, who Dom has a... Why don't we, in case our listeners didn't hear your rant on Billy Corgan before I get into this news, summarize so that Jason knows as well your experience with Billy Corgan.
So I used to work for Tower Records back when Tower Records existed, up in the Bay Area, San Francisco area, and part of my job was I was a manager for asset protection at the Castro Street store, but then, because I was also good at coordinating, because I had like 3 more brain cells than like anyone else that worked in that field.
That's good.
They would have me coordinate the events for like when famous people did signings at the stores. And at the Mountain View store, Smashing Pumpkins did a signing, and it was like when Smashing Pumpkins got back to their original lineup. After.
When they were like dressing up in those fucking stupid suits and acting like they were in an old time movie.
Yeah. It was for like the album after that, because they did that album, they got them all famous, and they did another album with a different lineup, and then they did another album where they had the original people back. And Billy Corgan had just started a record label, and he was looking for artists that did ambient music. And I had gotten wind of that, and I talked to my boss, because he asked me to coordinate it, and it was my day off, but I said, hey, can I come in on my day off and actually be here for this event, because I want to get Billy Corgan my music. And my boss was like, yeah, sure, no problem, do your thing. So, we set it up to where I was at the table, like next to Smashing Pumpkins, as we were ushering the people through. And I was next to the drummer the whole time, and the drummer was super fucking cool. And he and I were just like cracking jokes the whole time and hanging out. And James Iha and Darcy, the girl and the Asian guy, were fucking stoned the whole time and just like giggling to each other and like getting up and going away and then coming back reeking of weed. And Billy Corgan was sitting at the end of the table, and he wouldn't talk to anyone. He was just like sign stuff and usher him on, sign stuff and usher him on. And he didn't really seem approachable. But as I was talking with Jimmy, and they were wrapping up, I was like, hey, I've got my CD here. I read that Billy Corgan has a record label and is looking for ambient artists. I do ambient music. Could you get him my music? And Jimmy's like, yeah, no problem, And he takes the CD from me, and he gets up, and he walks right over to Billy Corgan and hands him the CD and says something to him. And Billy Corgan, looks over Jimmy Chamberlain's shoulder at me, kind of narrows his eyes and shakes his head, no. And Jimmy came back and gave me the CD. He's like, I don't know what's up with him. He's been a dick all day. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So, Jimmy goes away, and Billy Corgan's, still, giving me fucking,
looking all gaunt. For someone so tall, he looks so fucking
He looks
fragile.
like he has AIDS.
Did you ask the one guy to listen to it at least? That was being cool?
Yeah, I gave it to him, actually. I have no idea if he ever listened to it, because I never had any contact with him.
Catch Billy on a better day.
Yeah. But Billy kept fucking dog-eyeing me after that. Who the fuck is this guy trying to give me his music?
That's still pretty cool, though, to be Mad Dog by Billy Corgan.
Then I got
Billy Corgan.
Really,
I'm not done yet.
Most celebrities will look past anyone.
Yeah, finally, I was
Just-
about 6 feet away from him, and he kept doing it, and I fucking stuck my middle finger right in his face. And his road manager got between me and Billy Corgan and ushered him out of the store. And my boss saw me do it, but he saw the whole exchange. He's like, "Wow, that guy was a dick. You did the right thing."
Well, okay. First of all, he wants to be known as William Patrick Corgan now.
William.
He doesn't want to be called Billy anymore. He wants to be William Patrick.
He's
Corgan.
a man now.
He's mature now?
I guess so, something like that. But why the fuck am I talking about Billy Corgan? Not just to bring up your story, but because it ties into horror news.
He looks like Nosferatu?
He does look like Nosferatu.
Nosferatu with AIDS.
And this is some real life
drank
horror
some bad
news.
blood.
Real life horror news. But
AIDS Ferratu.
according, it is a questionable AIDS Ferratu. That's a rating system. AIDS Ferratus. How many AIDS Ferratus we're going to rate these movies in today? But tying into horror news, real life horror news, Billy Corgan, or William Patrick Corgan, has come forward saying he witnessed a human being transform into something other than human.
Yeah, he witnessed me turn into a bird.
Maybe that's why he was in such a bad movie. He saw a fucking werewolf or something the day before. He's freaked out. He saw you. He's like, is that the fucking werewolf?
I'm pretty hairy.
Weredom.
Yeah.
He was on the Howard Stern show Monday when he talked about his appearance on the Alex Jones show. You know who Alex Jones is?
Fuck Alex Jones.
Fucking
That makes me like
right-wing nut
less.
job. He's a fucking...
He's the InfoWars guy. He's like
basically like a Nazi. You know,
he's the guy that he runs that big
Fake news
site
shit.
that other than Breitbart that pushes all the fucking pro-Trump conspiracy theories.
Yeah, see, I paid
and,
no attention to any of that shit, so I would have no clue.
You're lucky it's not taking up space in your brain.
It is
So
not.
he told Stern that he witnessed a person transform into something he cannot explain. He said, let's just say I was with somebody once and I saw a transformation I can't explain. This person transferred into something other than human? Stern asked him, and Corgan said, yes, and I saw it.
You know what he saw? He saw Courtney Love's vagina.
Probably so. He
Right
saw
after
her
Marilyn
whole-
Manson made him snort powdered sea monkeys.
So Billy Corgan, you know what? That's what needed to happen in that scenario. Billy Corgan, you know, you're on loss prevention, right?
Yeah.
So you deal with people stealing and that kind of stuff. So you accuse Billy Corgan of stealing CDs.
Yeah.
He's rich, but he's a compulsive thief, right?
He's a klepto,
So
yeah.
he's a klepto. So then the wolf
And that's why he
cop-
didn't want my CD, because I was giving it to him, and he
wanted
wasn't
to
able to
take
steal it from me.
He should have just left it somewhere.
Yeah.
What happened? What he saw was Wolf Cop come in and arrest him for stealing your.
That's right. Yeah.
Wolf Cop. I can't wait for Wolf Cop 2. So.
Fucking Billy Corgan.
That's all I gotta say about fucking William Patrick Corgan.
You know, he was on the cover
Fuck you,
of
Billy
Cat
Corgan.
Fancy magazine once.
Cat Fancy.
Yeah.
With a cat? Or
With a
dressed
cat,
as
yeah.
Really?
He had like a blue turtleneck and a fucking cat.
I don't know if I want to go with AIDS Ferratu or Cat Fancies.
All right. So, Digital Dreams Entertainment is looking to bring back my favorite sports video game of all time, Mutant League Football. The game will consist of 18 different teams to choose from, with 4 brutal game modes: exhibition, practice, playoffs, and full season. The new version of the game promises to be even gorier than its predecessor, with humorous live commentary throughout the game. The trailer is available via YouTube and Steam, with an all-console release next year.
Yeah.
Mutant League Football, which means Mutant League Hockey
That's
next.
what I'm saying. If Mutant League Hockey comes back, I'm all for it.
The fighting system in that game, where
Yeah.
it would break down and you could actually play the fights and punch the fucking guy's head off.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Mutant League Hockey, criminally underrated compared to Mutant League
Yeah.
Football. But Well, I'm looking forward to that one. Something else that I'm looking forward to, maybe some of the biggest horror news of this year so far. Celebrating the 40th anniversary of one of the most controversial films ever made, the official sequel to Miyazarchi's 1978 cult classic I Spit on Your Grave will be released next year. So this is a sequel
To the original.
to the original made by the same guy. It's not the remake and stuff like that. It's the return of Camille Keaton, who played Jennifer Hills in the original film.
She's got to be like 60 now.
Yeah, and she has a daughter. So the sequel picks up with Jennifer Hills as a best-selling author living in New York City with her famous model daughter, Christy. Incensed that Jennifer Hills was vindicated for killing her 4 assailants from her brutal ordeal, and I Spit on Your Grave, both mother and daughter are kidnapped by revenge-seeking relatives of the rednecks who got her in the first movie.
Wow.
And that's why it's called I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu. I'm looking forward to this one.
Wow.
I know it sounds fucking so bad, but man, it's coming back. 40 years later, they're making a sequel to it. I thought the remakes.
What has
and
that guy
sequel
made
was
since
good.
then?
I don't know.
Fuck, this
So-
is gonna be crazy.
If it's going to be anything like the original I Spit on Your Grave, there's going to be tons of the main character running around naked even though she's 60. I already see enough like naked 60-year-old people in blood at my work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the only thing that's missing is rape.
I
So-
will. Well,
Tassels
Yeah, tassels.
when she runs.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see any. You see rape at your work too, so or attempted. At least.
We can't talk about that.
We can't talk about
I'll lose
HIPAA
my
laws
job.
prevent it. Listen to back episodes from before we
Yes.
couldn't talk about it. Yeah, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu.
So Naomi Watts is making her return to the world of horror in the new film The Wolf Hour. Watts stars as June Lei, a cultural icon and activist during the 1960s who has fallen from grace and is a shell of her former self. An unseen tormentor begins exploiting her weaknesses, and she must face her demons at the height of the darkest points of New York's history, the summer of the Son of Sam murders. So what interests me in this, I like Naomi Watts, she's cool, but what interests me is that we're finally getting another movie set during the Summer of Sam that isn't Summer of Sam. Because I fucking hate that movie.
Yeah, it is not good.
The only good
Very
thing about it is the
ungood.
talking dog. You know, and I at least want a movie set during the Son of Sam murders where Italians play Italians.
Well, the thing too about that movie is it's not about that really. It's about these characters dealing with it.
Yeah.
Sort of like how The Walking
It's
Dead.
a little preachy.
Yeah.
It's a lot
That's kind
preachy.
of what I take from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of distracting.
It's a lot fucking preachy.
It's like how The Walking Dead is about the characters, not the zombie apocalypse. It's like that, except for not good.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like The Walking Dead now as opposed to The Walking Dead like season 2.
Right. Yeah. So I'd like to see something else set in this, and the director is new. He's only done a few short films, so it might be a fresh take on that because that's a good setting. There's like a lot of shit that happened in New York during that time period. I just want to see someone who understands it a little bit better handle it. You know.
Definitely.
Have you seen the short films of the guy that made it?
I have not. I'm going to
No.
go check them out. I just found out about it today. So.
Well, this weekend.
Or person, the person that made it. I don't want to sound sexist or anything.
Yeah. It's a guy. You were correct.
Sorry, audience.
So, this weekend, me and my wife are going to be accompanying Jason and the lovely Amy.
Hopefully.
We will be accompanying you.
Hopefully there are tickets.
Zombie Joe's.
We'll look tonight. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll look. When I get home, I'll look.
So, if you heard our top 5 haunted houses episode, the first time Jason came on the show, they go to a shitload of immersive haunts, and he's going to a bunch more this year. He's been to all of them, and talk a little bit about Zombie Joe's, where we're going to go, and then the other ones you're going to hit this year, where people can go. I know this is going to come out on Wednesday, so it's a tail end of the season, but there's still time for this weekend, if people want to hit it still.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't really go too far into it without giving much away, and I mean, really, if I did, you can't even really grasp going through these things without actually experiencing.
Yeah,
them.
don't talk about the actual experiences, like giving things away, but
Yeah,
ones
so-
you're going to go to, and which ones are worth the money and that people need to see if they're into this kind of thing, and then they're in the LA area.
Actually, this year it's kind of odd. This year is a little dry. I mean,
Because
it's not,
we've got too much horror in the
it's
real
not-
world.
It's not. I mean, that's not horrible or anything. But I mean, some just aren't doing shows. Some are doing shows in other areas. Like Alone is in Australia, so they're not doing anything.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
But good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
Bad for us. I don't know. I'd say Creep LA is really good. Kind of like more of like an entry level one would be 17th Door. We've gone the past couple years. The sets there, they do a really good job with the sets at 17th Door. I gotta give them that. But as far as Zombie Joe's is just this crazy, this crazy little live raw show.
It's not like a haunted house so much as it is like a live performance, like you go see a play.
Well, it's not even really a play. It's almost like it's all it is just like these short little crazy vignettes. That's it. They're maybe from like 10 seconds
like
to like
a variety
minute.
show kind of thing.
But it's like all these extreme topics, and the performers are just fucking ballsy. I mean, like seriously ballsy, like fucking dicks in their face, ballsy.
Wow.
You know, it's
ballsy in the literal term.
yeah. I mean, they take on a lot of topics that like nothing would really touch.
So there's gore and nudity.
There's gore. Yeah. There's nudity. Very closely simulated sex. Rape. All this crazy stuff.
Is it like a real life Wizard of Gore kind of thing?
Pretty much, yeah. And the thing is, it's so the theater space is tiny. It's probably, I would say, audience and stage is maybe the size of the garage.
The studio,
yeah,
the recording studio.
The B ward.
The B ward. No, the size of this is not a garage, people. This is a professional recording studio environment known as the B ward. We're not recording in a garage.
The dimensions of this professional environment are roughly 20 feet by 15 feet, however.
I said a garage. Anyway.
Happens to be the same size as a garage.
Yeah, and it pretty much it would be considered like black box or experimental theater. But even then, I mean, until you've seen something like this, you just don't even know.
And tickets are only $15, right?
Yeah, fuck, it's only $15.
$15.
And the thing is, during Halloween, what they do is, rather than just like going through the lobby and the reception area, they turn that part of it into a maze that you go through that leads into the show floor.
Oh, nice.
So you get a little bit of haunted house with the theater.
Yeah, and then on the way back, they switch it up and you do a different one on the way back out.
That's creative.
Yeah. I mean, I would say anyone that is not thin-skinned should go see a Zombie Joe show because they're just fucking something else.
You sold me. That's what we changed our plans up this weekend. We're going to Zombie Joe's. Dom, you should come with us.
I got plans I can't skip out on this weekend, but I really want to check this thing out. Maybe next year.
It's running.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they'll do like urban death shows just throughout. Like he probably does like 3 or 4 a year.
Okay,
not even Halloween. Yeah, so
cool. Yeah, definitely something I want to check out.
If you have to pick like 2 more, what would you pick as far as some of the other ones
that are going on this year?
That are going on this year that you're looking forward to the most.
We are going to go to Walls Grow Thin, which is supposed to be this crazy. It's actually supposed to be really big. It's supposed to take place in like a 5-story warehouse.
Wow.
Yeah, by this pretty old production company, and it's just based on like Japanese ghost folklore.
Nice.
It's supposed to be really cool. That. And Creep LA. We've gone to both of their shows the past 2 years, and they always put on something really good. Creep LA is cool. Creep LA is really cool.
So Jason and Amy take like a whole week and go down and hit all of these every year, and go to the off-season ones as well. So he's really been to like everything there is to go to as far as these immersive theater experiences. Nice. So
even Heretic,
Tension Experience.
Is Heretic still going? I heard they
had a show this past weekend actually.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what goes on at Heretic.
So
he gave me. You can't see it. This is a audio broadcast, but he put the finger up to the lips like, I know you get hit in the head a lot. I know you forget things from time to time. I know I told you not to say it.
I don't want my name being
right. I'm not going to say that they... No.
So did you see the documentary about Blackout Haunted House?
Yeah.
How was that in terms of accuracy of what actually goes on?
It's very accurate, but the thing is, you still just don't. Well, what's funny is that we know, a few people that were actually in the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, you don't know until you go through it. I mean, it's really easy to say, yeah, I can do that shit. Well, you know what it's like? It's like, you ever watch like Navy SEAL training documentaries, and you just kind of like go, fuck, I can do that shit. You know what I mean?
I've seen the training, and I said, I don't want to fucking do that shit.
Well, still, or at least wonder, could I do that?
Yeah.
Some of these are that way. Some you just fucking get pounded.
Yeah. There's physical elements to it.
Yeah. Some are really gnarly, and until you know, you just don't know. And a lot of these too, you go through by yourself, and that, in itself is pretty scary.
Right.
Thing. You're really, really vulnerable.
The thing that most intrigues me about this whole thing is that, okay, Jason is a metalhead, right? works out a lot, muscular. You know, you can kind of think about him going to like these, like that. He's kind of into this. He watches a lot of horror movies. You know, I can kind of see that. But Amy, on the other hand, is just an absolute sweetheart, and I cannot imagine the experiences that she's went through in these things. Like, people in her day-to-day life with her work and stuff like that have no idea what she has on her.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It is pretty funny. She's actually kind of getting a reputation for like being able to take some shit. But what's weird is like when you take like the most extreme ones out there, you know, like victim experience out in Vegas or you know Heretic, and you after a while you just kind of get to know the people that do go through those. You know, they don't look like the kind of people that you think would
like the blackout experience is like that. All the people that are on that, they don't look like they're like, you know, horror, you know.
Well, you know, it's like going to a BDSM club. You walk into a BDSM club, you see people all fucking wrapped up in shibari ropes with fucking bits in their mouth and stuff, and then they go about their normal business during the day, you know.
Yeah,
you
and
have
it's
no
like
idea what it is.
Japanese businessman.
Yeah.
Paying for used panties and tentacle fucking and all of the sort.
Or the fact that anyone could be a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know what I think about though when I think about those two is like when they set those up, they got to put a lot of work into making those things. There's a lot of deep psychology that goes into them. And
that's the worst part of it, really.
And I've seen that some of them, they actually send you questionnaires before you go in so they can ask you stuff. What would they do with someone like JD? Who's been through fucking death matches and has had light tubes and fucking Kenzon fucking, you know, gusset plate shoved into his head.
It's a different environment, you know, than wrestling. You know, so I mean, it's still kind of different. You know, I mean, just again going through something. A lot of times, the anticipation is pretty bad as it is. You know, the interaction can sometimes be pretty gnarly. So I mean,
it's more psychological. There is a physical element, but
and there is like a really deep like psychological element to it. You know, they're really good at just like zeroing in on shit that just and really they can do it. The questionnaires, I mean, sometimes they don't even really use that shit.
It's like Scientology. Know? It's just to disengage you.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure they use a lot of the same tactics with most people. I mean, humans are humans. You know what I mean? So like a lot of these tactics are going to work with on most people. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, they can really unnerve you pretty badly to the point where you're just like, fuck, I just want to get out of here. Yeah. I mean, there are a couple times where I'm just
Have you ever tapped out?
Man. No, I came close.
You came close
I came close in one of them. I'm not going to say which, but I came like fucking within a second.
Why don't you say, well, don't say what happened, but tell us which one. That way, if people are really into the extreme ones, they can... That if they really want to search that out.
Oh, it was the Heretic show.
The Heretic,
yeah. Okay. And what they do actually, they're extreme enough to where they would have two safe words. One is like an ease up, you know, and another one is like I'm fucking done.
Yeah, let me out of here.
Yeah, I gotta go. And yeah, I came really close to calling the ease up.
Wow.
I was like,
oh, so you didn't call the ease up even?
No, I didn't call it either one. But I swear to God, dude, I was like, I'm thinking, okay, am I fucking gonna go unconscious? What the fuck is going on here? And I was just like. It got very, very, very intense. Wow. When I left there, actually, I didn't even really appreciate that show until like days later. Because I was just
thinking of the experience,
fucking mad.
Yeah, it probably makes you.
I left there so fucking mad, dude.
But that's the art of it too. Yes. That's what they want to do.
Yeah. Dude. Listen, I left there so fucking mad, and like for
mad
days,
at them, like
and then for days I was like, why? You know, I was mad at myself. And why did I do that shit?
Yeah.
Why did I let them fucking do that shit to me?
Yeah.
You know, and then like later on, you just start thinking about everything, just looking back on it, and just go, man, like that took some work.
Yeah, that
really took some work. It wasn't even just like the brutality of it and the physicality of it. It was just the mind games that they were able to play on top of the physical stuff, and both of them were just like at my fucking limit, dude.
There's a difference between mad at them, like fuck those guys, they fucked with me, and fuck those guys, they put on a bad show and I was bored.
Yeah, you know what? Like Dom was saying about like, you know, what would they do to me if I've done all this crazy hardcore fucking brutal shit to my body and stuff? Well, so I could imagine that feeling and being through that and surviving it. That's basically why I did all that fucking stupid shit I've done for years. I got to travel the fucking country. I got to make money. I got to do, you know, I got to do all that. But beyond that, it's like when you go off a fucking 20-foot balcony through fucking tables with glass on it and shit like that. It's like, but you still live to tell about it.
Yeah, that's
it's like this rush. It's the same reason people would
dude, it's a thrill. It's the same. It's
a
fucking thrill. It's an absolute thrill.
And just to be like, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me, and it just happened. I just got hit by a fucking weed whacker on my bare skin like multiple times. Like, why the fuck would I do that, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the shit that happened to us because you actually have to sign a fucking NDA.
No disclosure.
Yeah, so I don't want to be, you know,
But
flop my lip.
it
But
got
it's
you
the-
there, and
it's the same-
you're a guy that goes to these things. You take a whole week out of your life
Yeah.
to go to all these things.
Dude, I thought that I was like completely ready for that.
And
I was
they
like,
got
okay.
you.
I was like, okay, fine. So we've been doing this shit for close to 2 years. Going to a lot of them, shit ton of them. I think there was like a stretch where we may have gone to like almost every single one, driving to LA to do that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine. So let's do it. I've pretty much done everything else.
Yeah.
Let's do this one. And fuck, dude, I made it through, but I was not ready. I don't think anyone's ready for that.
Okay.
You either find out whether you are or you're not.
Right.
Well, we're going to Zombie Joe's this year. Next year, you have my word. We will be going to one of those crazy ones. I will be going with you, and we will be doing it. So, next year, because now...
Well, we'll see what's around next year, hopefully.
Since I've retired from wrestling, I'm going to have to seek out that feeling elsewhere. So.
It's a thrill, man. It really is a fucking thrill. It's something that you don't get anywhere else. That's the thing about it. I'm not going to skydive. I'm not going to swim with sharks. I'm not going to do shit like that.
I think my wife's going to like it.
This is kind of like my substitute for that stuff, But it is a thrill, and if someone hasn't done it, they just don't know until they do it.
Yeah,
I
think my wife
I
like
can
it
describe
'cause
it.
it's skydiving and shit.
I can describe it like until I'm blue in the face, but
it doesn't matter. But
until someone does it, you just fucking don't know.
All right, well, check out Creep LA. Check out all the different ones he talked about. Zombie Joe's. If you guys are into this kind of thing, I know we're broadcast all over the place, and most of these are in LA. So some of our listeners,
But we got some in New York. There's
they may
some
be
in Las
insanely
Vegas.
jealous listening to this.
Somewhere in New York. I think like Chicago, they're popping up. I think there's like a pretty decent one in Oklahoma.
But if there's ever one in Florida, don't go into it because it's just a bunch of people with bath salts ready to bite your face off.
Probably so.
Or it's probably just one of those like carny communities.
Yeah.
Drive through.
House is October built.
All right. Well, before we get into our movies this week, we got an email from a listener who goes by the name of Dream Reaper. That's his music name. His name is Troy, but Dream Reaper is his project, and he sent us over some music that's right up your alley, Dom. He took the Goosebumps TV theme and reimagined it into like an electronic, like 80s horror movie score, and he sent that over to us. And his Dream Reaper, he's on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Dream Reaper Music /Goosebumps if you want that song. But he has other stuff. But he does this dark, synthetic, like ambient music, similar to the Mechanical Ghost and the stuff you do. But it's more like, he describes it as like Stranger Things soundtrack if it was on steroids.
Okay.
So
I'm interested.
He sent over this song, and at the end of Horror News here, I'm going to go ahead and insert that in the episode. We're going to play it for the audience. You guys just want to see more that he has to offer, check out Dream Reaper. So, dreamreapermusic.com. And this is the Goosebumps theme.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Postmortem Podcast. If you want to support us, go to our website at www.postmortemshow.com and click the Amazon link.
By clicking on the Amazon banner, Amazon will give a small percentage of the purchase price of your item back to the Postmortem Podcast at no additional cost to you. That's right. Doesn't cost you any money, we get money. You want us to keep doing this? You want more Doug Jones talk? You want more dick and fart talk? I don't care. We're going to do it.
Fund our filthy, filthy habits.
Yes, and they are many and they are fast.
And most of them aren't legal.
Yes. Click the banner. Just do it.
Come on, don't be a dick. Give us money.
Let's go down to the movies with Dom and JD, the Blood Boobies, and Doug Jones. Psychos, monsters, bloody slashes, maniacs, and tits and asses, chainsaws, knives, and facial bashes on Postmortem. Let's go down to the movies with Dom and JD for some more Doug Jones.
No, Doug Jones. You know what that song means.
It means...
Dom and JD at the movies. So, this time we went to the movies and we saw 2 suggestions by our guests this week.
That's right.
We saw German Angst and Landmine Goes Click.
I fully expected German Angst to just be a bunch of dudes shitting in other dudes' mouths while fucking Nazi marches played in the background.
Now's the time on Sprockets when we dance.
Pizzy monkey!
I would watch that, though.
Yeah?
Why not?
I think I probably have watched that.
So, German Angst, we'll start off with that. 2015, written and directed by Mikhail Kosakowski, Jorg Buttergariet, Andreas Marshall. You know my pronunciations.
3 German guys whose names JD just mangled.
German Angst! Acclaimed writers and directors. The 3 guys I just mentioned, I'm not going to say them again because I can't. Are back behind the camera with a supreme feature film, controversial, mystical, disturbing, with old images of Berlin's scariest architecture. The film was built around 3 tales. In the first episode, the story of a young girl who lives alone with her guinea pig in a dirty apartment in Berlin. Is she alone? In the bedroom lies a man, bound and gagged. The second episode tells a powerful, if only scenario in which a young deaf and mute couple is attacked by a group of hooligans. However, they are in possession of a mysterious talisman that could help him. In the last episode, a man stumbles upon a secret sex club that promises the ultimate sexual experience by using a drug made from the roots of the legendary Mandragora plant. The ecstatic experiences have horrific side effects. So, this is definitely German.
Yeah. Very German.
It's extremely German. Opening is like an old war propaganda film.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
German Angst.
Drums.
It's like boom,
Birth of a Nation.
boom. Yeah, it was like fucking crazy, but I love anthology horror, as you know. That's my favorite.
And this was...
See, I'm the opposite. I typically find them pretty weak.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
think
really
that
don't like
there's
them.
enough, like in ABCs of Death and stuff like that. It's like half good and half bad, but there's enough to make it to where I'm going to watch the next one, the one after that.
Yeah.
You put out as many ABCs of Death as you want. I'm going to watch them all because there's going to be enough to make it worth watching. Because even if you don't like the segment in an anthology horror movie, it's over and you move on to the next one.
This one was kind of unique for anthology films, though, because as opposed to being like a whole shitload of movies, it was 3 half-hour short films.
The last one is like almost an hour.
Yeah,
it's like 50
and
minutes.
then 2 15-minute ones. Yeah. And so, but they still had time to kind of build the stories a little bit more, I think.
Definitely. So, part 1 was called Final Girl. Young girl and her 3-legged guinea pig listen to radio reports of extreme murder. She then grabs some pliers and goes to another room where a man is tied up and blindfolded. Proceeds to brutally castrate the man, all while doing a voiceover about veterinary procedures for castrating guinea pigs. You had a lot of following her around with no dialogue, but it culminates in some awesome practical gore. It's very artsy, and it's the whole thing to me. I saw it as a metaphor for child abuse, like when she's talking about the guinea pig and stuff like that. I think that man like abused her. I don't know what's going on. We're not giving away too much because it's a 15-minute thing. We're not going to talk about the end or anything like that. But you know, I think it was like a metaphor for child abuse or something like that.
I can kind of see where that played in there. Yeah.
I did not like this one as much when I first watched it because I'm familiar with the director. He made Necromantic and Necromantic 2, which are fucking hardcore movies.
Yeah, it's definitely he's pulling back the reins on this one.
And Necromantic 2 is like a hardcore fucking graphic movie, but it's also like an artsy love story, which makes it really interesting. And he definitely went in a different direction with it that I didn't like at first. But the more that I thought about it, and like you and I talked a little bit about it yesterday, and like you brought up the point about it being the metaphor for child abuse, because I wasn't making the connection with the guinea pig stuff. I was like, is this just her like autistic obsession or something?
No, it's like it's her justifying her acts, and it's almost her taking herself out of the situation, cutting a guy's fucking balls off, but thinking about guinea pig rituals and stuff like that.
Because she's the guinea pig.
Pretty much, yeah. She's the guinea pig that doesn't want to be held like the guinea pig. You know, that's the way I took from it. Like, she talks a lot about how, like, the guinea pig, you know, you think it's snuggling you, but really it's trying to make itself as small as possible because it just wants to escape and it doesn't want to be touched.
Right.
And I think that's why I think there was, like, some childhood sexual abuse going on there or something. I don't know if it was her dad, a neighbor. It doesn't really get into any of that kind of backstory.
Yeah, we don't know who the guy is.
We don't know who the guy is.
Abused her or anything like that. Or even if she even lived there, or if that was even the three-legged guinea pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were very careful not to ever show the guiney pig's legs.
No, it did show it. It had 3 legs.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It had 3 legs. They got a real 3-legged guinea pig. Yeah.
Edit that shit out now.
No, we don't. It's fine.
I wonder if they got a guinea pig and made like a little green leg sleeve for one of its legs.
Well, you know, it only showed 3 legs. Maybe it was laying on the other leg. You know, you could position it in a way that it's underneath its body. You know, but that's not the point. Isn't the amount of legs the guinea pig had. The point is, what do you guys? Is there anything else you could think about this story?
Or the 3 legs could have been like whoever abused her had a monster fucking dick, and it was like 3 legs.
Yeah.
The 3rd leg.
There's that too.
Yeah.
The practical gore at the end was very good.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, really good. And same with the, you know, just the whole just
the intensity of it also.
Yeah.
You know, just showing the expression.
I don't know how they accomplished this, if it was cutaways or whatever, but this deeply disturbed me because it shows the man's full penis, testicles. I'll use the clinical term. It shows his cock and balls.
Cock and balls.
It shows his cock and balls. It shows his monkey and his peewees.
It's right.
As Albert Fish would say.
Yeah.
And it's her taking his fucking chonies off. But it's like a child actor that's got to be like 12 or something like that.
So she might have been 18 and just looked young.
Maybe,
or it's Germany. They have different
It probably
laws
just
there.
shows like that. Because it never shows her face in the scene. It just shows the hands. So I probably think that they use like a body double or something like that.
I would assume she's over 18 just because of just the subject of the movie.
Yeah.
You never know.
And that director's pretty infamous in Germany. You know, like, yeah.
For like that type of underage shit?
No, for just for making fucked up movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I couldn't see unless he has like maybe some friends or something. Like, but I kind of think she was probably 18 and just looked young.
Yeah. I hope so. Or I hope there's a body double. So that kind of fucking disturbed me when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of trick of the camera or something. So what do you guys think about this? What would you rate this one?
Just as far as overall rating?
Overall rating, part 1.
Out of 10.
Part 1
Final girl.
out of 10. I would probably give that a solid 6.5.
6.5. Okay, I gave it a 7.5. I like I like the deeper meaning and the metaphor and stuff like that. And it almost like it reminded me of a German version of Audition. When she's using the piano wire in Audition, she's so like displaced from the situation and smiling and happy.
Yeah.
And she's castrating the guy. It kind of gave me like the German Audition vibe. So I gave it a 7.5. What about you, Noah?
I gave it a 7. I initially gave it a 6 when I first watched it, but the more I thought about it, the more I bumped it up to 7.
All right. So, part 2. Make-A-Wish. Deaf and mute couple are playing around in an old warehouse. The man tells the woman a story about Nazis killing people with an awesome shovel kill. Really
Great
good shovel kill.
Yeah, the baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is
whack.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. I rewatched it today, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
When he did it, I was like, "He's not gonna. He fucking did it."
This was my favorite of the 3 segments.
Yeah, mine as well.
They almost kill a little girl, but a strange necklace protects her. As the man finishes his story through sign language to his deaf and mute girlfriend, wife, whatever it is, a group of Nazis brutally assault them. However, she has a necklace to protect her by switching the consciousness of her boyfriend into the main Nazi leader guy. The fatter Nazi looks like the dad from Beetlejuice that was a pedophile. You know?
Yeah.
It reminded me of the movie The Pest. Have you ever seen The Pest with John Leguizamo? And
I
that
haven't
guy
watched
from
that in a long time.
the guy from Beetlejuice is like German and like hunting people. It's like the most dangerous.
Except he's got a
game
fucking 88 tattoo on his neck and some fucking red suspenders.
horrible tattoos. Yeah. So
Well, he was a horrible character, really. They could have like done without him completely.
yeah, he kind of like same with the girl, like with her laugh and shit.
She was like a bargain basement German Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
She was
pretty
fucking
much.
terrible.
Yeah, but this is fucking cruel and brutal.
Yeah.
This segment is
ugly.
by far
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
cruel and brutal of the three, and my favorite. But I
Well,
really.
it's mean-spirited and really sad.
It's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
nihilistic.
also, yeah.
Nihilistic.
Yeah, it definitely like especially and we won't spoil the ending, but
Yeah.
you know, especially like the ending and stuff is like wow.
Yeah. I was like, by the end, I was like, fuck everyone in this except for the one character.
I think that as far as the segment goes, you know, we had two shorter ones and one 50-minute one out of an hour and 50 minutes, 30, 50. I wish this one was the 50 and not the third segment. The third one kind of dragged a little bit for me. We'll get into that. But then again, part of me is like, the more time they get, the more time they have to fuck up. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why sometimes these segment horrors are good, is because there's not a lot of time to screw it up. You know?
Get down to the
You get down to
meat
you
and
tell the
potatoes of what
story,
it is,
you don't
yeah.
drag any of that kind of stuff. So maybe if just all of them were 30 minutes, it might have been a better whole product. But I really like this one. So what would you give it? The guest goes first. Or
I would give this one a fucking 9.
a 9.
I mean, that 30 minutes is, fuck man, it's as good as just about anything
Since
out
it's
there.
German Aches, would you give it a 9? 9, 9, 9.
Yeah, sure.
You gotta say it. 9! 9! I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8.5.
I gave it an 8.
8,
Yeah,
okay.
I liked it. Some of the characters kind of knocked it down a little bit for me, just because they were annoying. But it was still a strong segment with some fucking good violence
Yeah, definitely.
and an ending that affected me on an emotional level.
Definitely. All right, part 3.
However you say it.
All-round. How would you say that word? All-round?
Around?
All
I have
around.
no clue. Yeah.
This was my favorite segment.
That was your favorite,
Yeah.
really? This is my least favorite by far.
Yeah, it's my least favorite as well.
Man recalls his experience at an underground club where sexual dreams come true, but are they dreams or nightmares?
Da-da-da.
Get some body horror.
Yeah.
But I was questioning whether the body horror we saw was mental or actually happening. I think it's mental.
Yeah, so would I, just because of the way it ended.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like it was a little bit of both, but this is the reason I liked it so much. Is it had the three things that I like in horror. It had body horror, it was Lovecraftian, and it had secret societies.
Yeah.
You know, those are three things that I really go for in horror movies.
Another thing, too,
and,
like
and
the
it was
fourth
very
one.
psychosexual.
Deviant sexual behavior, too.
Yeah.
That's another thing, too, I love in
Yeah.
horror. It's like, you know, it's like that's where taking the very essence of, like, sex and stuff like that and just making it, turning it against, like, sex is basically you live to eat, sleep, fuck, and breed, right? That's, like, essentially all animals do that, you know what I mean? So when you turn that bad and make it, like, gross, you know what I mean, instead of, like, desirable, that does come across, and some good gore in this one as well. I was watching it by myself, and my wife walked in, and she's like, she came and sat down, you know, started watching it with me, and I'm like, she just cut her fucking vagina off. She's like, what? You can't cut a vagina off. I'm like, well, she did it. She found a way.
You can cut it out. Ed Gein proved that.
Yeah, that's true. Nipple. Yeah. We're gonna create a Ed Gein tribute band. Me and Dom are gonna be in this band. All the songs are gonna be Ed Gein related, but it's also gonna be a Nickelback cover band, but not cover. But we're gonna take the song names of Nickelback and translate those into Ed Gein, and it's gonna be called Nippleback because Ed Gein with his belt full of nipples, Nippleback.
Nippleback.
What would one of the titles be?
Photograph of a dead, or a photograph of severed vagina. I don't know.
Look at this cunt.
Look at this photograph of an old lady I dug up.
Yeah, I really liked this one. I liked the fact that it had a kind of ambiguous, questionable ending, and that you weren't sure if it was an actual monster or if he was just going insane. You know, and that's a very Lovecraftian thing. Is you're never really supposed to know where that line between reality and phantasmagoria blurs.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm surprised it's your favorite because to me it kind of dragged a little bit. I think that it could have benefited from being 30 minutes instead of 50 minutes. I think that this would have
also. You know, not only that, but I think that following the segment before it, which was just, I mean, like I said, just so violent, so mean.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was pretty tame compared to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was all the things that you said. I think that I probably would have liked it better either on its own or grouped with different stories.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't bad.
My only complaint about it is
two instead of three. If they just transpose the segments,
yeah.
And this was segment 2. Segment 1 kind of swings off at this one kind of is the lull, and then you go with the big fucking go home.
The money shot at the end.
The money shot at the end of segment 2. If they just sort of switched those two segments, I think the flow of the movie as an anthology would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, but my only concern about that would have been if it dipped down too low. Some people may just be like, yeah, I don't feel like reading right now.
Yeah, but if you cut that shit to 30 minutes though and put it in the middle, it would have been better.
Probably could have been
better.
Yeah.
There could have been my one complaint about it was there was too much of him chasing the Russian girl.
Yeah.
Like, he just met this chick.
Yeah.
And he's
what
all
the fuck
fucking
does he
sprung
care
on
about
her.
it? And she wasn't that hot.
No.
Spoiler alert.
She looked like Sandra Bernhard fucked a weasel, and that was the offspring, but it was still kind of attractive.
She had the fucking I think that when you're born in a trailer park and you have your
or Russia
coming of age, you get that Monroe piercing.
Right.
I think that's like it's passed down. Your mother gives you her Monroe piercing, even though she's also 14. So
Is it the same one?
Yeah, the same one. She passes it down. It's family heirloom. Yeah, so she was not hot. Why did he care so much? He had to kiss a dude to get in the club, which is, fine by me. Kiss all the dudes you want, but that guy was fucking creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're promising the kind of shit that he's promising,
and what were they? Were they smoking weed or was it something else? I didn't get that.
I think it was opium.
It had to be something else.
Or it was that mandrake plant. Or
the guy was saying that there was some plant scientist, fucking with some shit. So it could have been something that we don't
genetically
even know.
engineered weed and stuff.
And the monster, like the body horror monster, was like a cross between like a plant and a vagina and a Venus
it looked
flytrap.
like a foreskin dick plant.
Yeah, like a Little Shop of Horrors.
A foreskin over a fucking
it's like a Venus flytrap.
Yeah,
like Little Shop of Horrors was directed by David Cronenberg.
All right, so we have AIDS Ferratus as our rating system this week. As a whole, what would you give German Angst?
As a whole, I think it's really good. I mean, I think it's really mean-spirited. It's definitely something that's different and out there that you do not see every day. It's a different take on horror also. That's the thing, too, is when you have people that come from, like, a totally different part of the world, the way they view things are just different.
That's why the French horror movies we're going to talk about are so good. That's why I loved Baskin, because it came out in Turkey. It was completely out of the...
fantastic.
Out of... it wasn't made like American horror.
Right.
Like,
it's a different train of thought. It's a different way of thinking, and it's just...
That's why Australian horror movies are so good, too, to me, too. Yep. There's a lot of that that's really good. So, I agree with you on that. I think as a whole, though, what would you place the number at?
What is it? AIDS what?
AIDS Ferratus.
AIDS Ferratus.
Billy Corgan looks like AIDS Nosferatu.
I would give German Angst 8 AIDS Ferratus.
8 AIDS Ferratus. Okay,
I agree.
8 as well.
Yeah.
I did straight math to make
my straight math was like 8
my straight
also.
math dividing it was 7.5. Okay. But I could totally round it up to 8 and we could all be on board. We could round it up to though if we wanted to. 9. We could round it up to 9. 9.
But we'll give it
enough. But we'll give it an 8. But that's enough 9ing. So, all right. And the other movie we saw, as suggested by my good buddy Jason here, Landmine Goes Click. What the fuck?
I liked this movie.
I love this movie.
I will probably never watch this movie again, but I liked this movie.
Yeah. Georgian horror. Not from Georgia.
Not the state of Georgia, yeah.
There's a country called Georgia. Yeah. Very similar to Russia. But
invaded by Russia at one point.
Yeah. 2015, written and directed by, okay, here it comes again, Levon Bakia. I think I got a little closer with that one.
Did you?
I watched a lot of hockey. There's a lot of Russian hockey players, so I think I can get a little closer. Evgeny Malkin, Levon Bakia. Pretty close.
So shouldn't a hockey player at least one share that guy's last name? If there are that many?
I don't think there is, no.
Really?
No, there's a lot of Zovs and Ins, but I don't know about a Bakia. Because he's from Georgia. He's not Russian. They don't have ice in Georgia. third world, bro.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just making it up. Oh, by the way, German Ink streaming now on Amazon Prime. So if you guys want to watch that, if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it for free. Same with Landmine Goes Click, also on Amazon Prime.
And Hulu.
And Hulu as well, huh? Okay. So starring Sterling Knight, Spencer Locke, Dean Geyer, and Koti Tolordava, trapped standing on an armed landmine, an American tourist is forced to watch helplessly while his friend is terrorized and brutally assaulted. So, opens up with 3 American tourists backpacking and hiking in Georgia, the country, not the state, as I said, war-torn area near Russia. Why would you backpack through a war-torn area? What the fuck are you doing with your life? Alicia and Chris talk without Daniel knowing about something that they did that meant nothing, and they can't tell him. Obviously, she's been whoring around. That's the theme of this movie. Meet up with local Davey, who's going to take a picture of them, but when he goes to do so, Chris steps on a landmine and Davey tells him to freeze. The only problem is the nearest town and help is 4 hours away. Daniel confronts him about the affair and reveals he knew about the landmine all along, set this up. I know it seems way far-fetched, but the way he sets it up and explains it kind of suspends your disbelief, because, like, what the fuck? Seriously, how would he know he'd stand in this exact area? How would he get it? What else? Like, you think about that premise, and you're just like,
But by the end of it, it makes sense.
It works. It works for the movie. You can suspend your disbelief enough, so. Davey and Daniel leave them there, but soon they get a visitor.
I can see a very smart person doing that to someone, though.
Yeah. A local man named Ilya, who's my favorite character in this movie.
Who's like a Georgian Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
Maybe Ron Jeremy is Georgian.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Will he help, or does he have other motives? So, it's about all we could say about the plot without spoiling it for you. Super tense. Not really like anything I've seen before. Would you agree?
It's a spin on a revenge movie, but like a double spin on a revenge movie.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very...
It's rough.
I think it's very realistic and authentic.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it, is that...
The first half is, to me.
Well, even the last part.
The last is, too, but...
I mean, look, there's some fucking psycho people, dude.
I know, dude, but I can suspend my disbelief about the whole setting up the landmine, but the third act... You really have to suspend your disbelief and be like, okay, yeah, this would work.
I can guarantee you crazier shit has happened many times in the world.
Yeah.
All right.
That's really, if you think about it, that's not... All you have to do is just fucking go into it saying, this is what I'm doing, and that's it.
Yeah, and you care about only that in your life. Like,
the second half of the movie also... So this movie is very limited storytelling. It basically only really has 2 scenes. Mm-hmm. There's the scene in the landmine, and then there's the aftermath of the landmine. Mm-hmm. And... The second part, I think, even though there's some fucking nasty shit that happens in the first half, I think the second half is nastier because the second half is
nastier. It's
innocent victims.
Yeah.
But what's fucked up about that, too, is that it's all at the same time. It's really satisfying. It is.
To be that guy and to get that revenge.
Yeah, but then it's fucked up that it's happening to these people, but at the same time, you're like, I understand.
You know what? About this movie, there is the 2 main characters. I'm not going to say who the 2 main characters are, but the 2 main characters, there's not a good or bad. It's a gray area. This movie lives in a gray area to where there's not a clearly defined.
Well, one of them is bad. Well, one of them is clearly fucking bad.
And the other one
then you could say both of them are bad. Well, he might be pushed, but
he did bad things, but at least he had a reason to do it. The other motherfucker didn't.
Yeah, but by that last act, I actually felt sympathy for the one that you say is bad.
Yeah, I did not at all.
I felt sympathy.
Yeah, the only people I felt sympathy for in this movie were the 2 innocents.
Yeah. Well, here's how I view that. One of the innocents shares his gene.
Yeah.
And she might be just as fucked up as he is.
That's true.
So,
Ilya is one of the most fucked up characters I've seen in a while.
He is creepy.
But he is so fleshed out to where I can imagine meeting this man, and I can imagine him being a real person.
He is a real person. Dude, you know what's funny?
That guy's out there.
Yeah, that guy's here.
Yeah.
Not in the room.
Yeah.
Not in this place, but...
yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I mean, no. when I was saying earlier, when I lived in LA and I was working, dude, you'd work with people from all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, odd motherfuckers that, just like I said, have that different way of thinking.
Yeah. I've listened to a lot of true crime podcasts right now. One of the things that they drive home on a lot of these things is that, like, serial killers are real people with real lives outside of being serial killers.
Yeah.
This guy wasn't a serial killer per se, but he had some fucking sick ass shit going on. but that wasn't his whole life.
I mean, you got to figure too. If you're living where this guy is living, and then, I mean, people are probably like, "Fuck sheep," where he's at. You know, I mean, I would assume that area is just like starved for women.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you fucking see this chick in shorts.
Yeah.
Dude, everything in his fucking system is going haywire.
And you've seen some horrible shit in your life. Your moral compass is already off from the nasty shit you've seen.
Yeah, this guy was like so fucking authentic. If this guy is like an actor, which I'm sure he is, he
deserves the Georgian Oscar.
Yeah,
he
really
amazing.
did. He by far, if it wasn't him, if you replaced him with a lesser actor or a lesser developed character, this movie would not work for me.
No, he
probably
was
wouldn't
the
even
centerpiece.
finish it. If it wasn't him, that guy, he drove it home, and
even just the sequencing and phrasing of his dialogue, you know, was just fucking spot on.
His pacing, everything,
the way he had his words in certain orders. You know, you think like, there's no way that an American writer would have written this.
Right.
You know, it's just it was just so fucking.
They probably told him what they wanted him to say or convey, and let him
improv.
Just loosely give him his line.
Here's what you're doing, and like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to hit these points. You know?
I gotta say, I haven't been this uncomfortable watching a movie since Compliance.
Yeah.
Like there were
Compliance.
There were a couple times where I was like,
it was, you know, I don't know, man. I thought it was.
Some sweet ass boobs, am I right?
I thought it was okay. I don't know. I don't really have that. Sometimes those things don't really bother me as much as, you know, they bother other people. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just not really my kind of.
So we did say that there might be that guy in the room. This is that guy.
There we go.
You're the fucking Georgian accent.
You're the Ilya. you're the official Ilya of post-mortem.
I didn't say I agree with that shit. I'm just saying.
Next time we bring you on, it's not going to be like second time guest.
Okay, let me say this. Would it be like a.
The Ilya of post-mortem, my buddy Jason. That's what I'm going to say from now on. So, you got that going for you next Halloween season.
It's execution that really gets me no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that really executed it as well.
But back to Landmine Goes Click, though. It kind of plays out the way you think it would, and then takes a 180 into territory you did not think that this movie was going to go. I love the IMDb synopsis of this movie, because it gives away nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, like, this is a tale of blah, blah, blah. It says, like, oh, some guy slips on a landmine and he's stuck there.
And some shit happens.
And some shit happens, you know?
I was expecting it to be more like The Hills Have Eyes or something, you know?
I thank you for recommending this movie and not telling me, like, you gotta watch this because of this. Just, you're like, watch this movie. And I'm like, because of me and you are very similar, I'm not necessarily an Ilya.
Yeah.
Like you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what else is a trip is that one of the actors in this movie is a fucking Disney child actor.
I looked that up, and I was pretty surprised at that.
And I was like, this guy looks familiar. Who the fuck is this? So I paused it, and I looked it up, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy was on Hannah Montana and shit. And I'm like, okay, they're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Fuck, they're going there.
Yeah. The thing is, he played a really good... like sociopathic character though.
Yeah.
You know, he was very cold.
Yeah.
You know,
the thing
very
is
cold.
too, he's not at first. He's totally sympathetic.
I didn't have a lot of sympathy for him in the beginning, but that's just because of my own personal background.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, fuck that guy. He deserves this.
This went too far. Yes, they are both bad people.
Yeah.
I take it back. No, you're right. They're
all
both
bad.
morally flawed. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. There's no good and bad. It's
he was weak, and then he was crazy.
Yeah. So, since it's streaming now on Amazon for free, I would recommend all of our listeners check this out. Landmine Goes Click.
And Hulu.
And to me, this movie is almost on the level of Sequestrados, Kidnapped. The movie Kidnapped, or Funny Games, just a couple pegs lower.
Yeah.
Those Funny Games and Sequestrados are perfect movies, perfect stories.
Yeah.
This movie is almost there. It is very good. It's definitely worth watching. But it doesn't quite get to the level of Sequestrados or Funny Games.
And if you can't handle pretty nasty rape scenes, don't watch this movie.
Definitely.
We will warn you of that.
Yeah, I can handle them.
Yeah.
Handle them, I can. That's more like Yoda.
Where's your fucking
handle the rape
walkie-talkie,
scenes?
bro?
I can.
Your walkie-talkie hasn't went off the entire time we've been here. IMDb gives us a 6.2.
It's
What do you
better
give
than
it?
that.
Oh, that's fucking way better than 6.2. Damn, I would probably give it 7 3/4. Give 3/4?
Yeah, sure.
7.75.
7.75 AIDS for Atus.
AIDS for Atus, yes.
What about you, Dom?
I give it 8.5. It's Feratus.
Okay.
It hit me. It hit me in the heart. You know,
I went higher than both of you guys. I give it 8.9. I really enjoyed this movie. It has its problems. Like, I would say, like, okay, like I compared it to Funny Games and Kidnapped, which is the American, but Sequestrados is the actual name. I don't know if it's on Netflix, but like Kidnapped to me is like a solid fucking 10. And Funny Games is like a 9.8.
Yeah.
The original Funny Games, you know, the new remakes are alright too, but
the ending of Kidnapped, the last 15 minutes or so, is some of the fucking gnarliest shit.
Well, it's also one of the most well-made movies, and the long takes that they rehearse the movie.
Yeah, it was like nine total takes.
9 total scenes, or 9 total cuts.
9 total takes, yeah.
Cuts with the camera, you know, and it's so fucking good. That's a solid 10. 8.9. It's not far off, but it's not as good as the others. So.
Yeah, that ending is just like so insanely fucking brutal. That's one of the ones when I watched it, I was just like,
I haven't seen that movie yet. I'm probably gonna go home and watch it tonight.
Dude,
now.
really?
I've brought it up several times.
I haven't had time.
Several lists. Yeah,
I haven't had time. But
So-
Funny Games was a movie I had to watch in 2 sittings.
yeah.
Because of the brutality of it, and not just like
I didn't think it was brutal enough.
the physical, not necessarily the physical brutality, but like
The mental,
the
it's
psychological,
twisted.
and that's always what I go for in movies. Is like, you know, a movie can be super violent and not affect me because there's no psychology to the violence. When it's psychologically brutal like that, that's where like my empathy like really kicks in, and
I like
that's
Funny
what
Games
fucks with
and that
me.
kind of movie specifically because not every killer or any kind of crazy person needs a fucking developed backstory.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you're
do
just fucking
fucked up
sick.
shit
Yeah.
because they're fucked up people.
Yeah.
There's no reason behind it. They weren't abused. They weren't this and that. They're just a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that every once in a while. You know, I like a backstory and stuff like that, but sometimes it's just like, I'm doing this, you know why? Because this scenario is perfect to where I can. Same with like Eden Lake. Have you seen Eden Lake?
Most
Yeah.
of the
With those kids, because they can do it, so they do it. You know
Most of
what
the
I mean?
time, a backstory is not done well anyway.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
It
you know?
over-explains it, if anything. You know, like Jeffrey Dahmer didn't have anything fucked up happen to him. You know, he just was born fucked up. You know,
Yeah.
Yep, there are a lot of people out there.
or then there's MK Ultra.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. You guys got some homework now. You can watch. I would recommend them in this order: Sequestrados, Funny Games, Baguettes, Click, Terminates. That's plenty of movies for you guys to watch. Send us an email, postmortem,
And then take a long shower.
Watch all of them in one day. Call in sick and watch all of those movies in one sitting.
And while you're watching it, have like a photograph of your mother next to you, so you can just every once in a while
just
look at
FaceTime her.
it.
Just FaceTime her.
and have just like a plate of raw meat on the other side of you.
Here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to put your favorite Smashing Pumpkins album on repeat in the background. Mine would be None.
Right.
While you watch all those movies in order, you call in sick from work, you spend your whole 8 hours watching all that shit, and then go next door and ask your neighbor for a fucking egg and just see where the night takes you. You know?
But before you do that, make sure you have your volume turned to 10 on your home theater. So when you go ask for the egg, there you can see him looking through the fucking peephole.
All right, we will be back with our top 5 French horror movies. Oui.
Do.
After this. Thank you guys for all your support, you know, sharing our shit, liking our page,
Listening,
weekly,
not suing us for anything,
semi-weekly,
getting semi-hard.
for 30 seconds once.
Yeah.
No matter how long you listen, we still support you. Unless it is just one episode, then fuck you.
Yeah.
You better run for the fucking hills.
Run
But
through the jungle.
that's not what this is about. No. What this is about is we have now started the official Facebook group of the Post Mortem Show.
Go on Facebook, look up Postmortem Show Horror Movie Podcast for a chance to share your favorite horror memes with us and occasionally be shit-talked by me.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah, I've already done it once.
Yeah, guys, join the group. We have thousands of listeners to the show. Right now, the group only has about 300 members.
Yeah.
So please add yourself. Please share it. Share it with the world.
Yeah. Just don't say stupid
Let
ass
us
racist
into your
shit.
lives. Listen to your lives.
Yeah. Open
You want to
yourself
talk to
wide.
me?
Open
You wanna
yourself
talk
to
Dom?
us.
You want to talk to Biff?
We will
soon to
put
be one-eared Biff.
we will put Biff on the computer if that's what you want.
We're gonna have an official event in the group. It's gonna be Facebook Live Q&A with Biff, and I'm just gonna put Biff on Facebook Live, sitting there, and he'll answer all your questions.
Maybe we could do it as like a video chat thing.
Yeah, so that's official Facebook group, Post Mortem Show Horror Movie Podcast. Please join, please share it with your friends. Well, we're back! Viva la France.
Viva la revolution!
Viva la France.
You know, Jason's not our only guest in the studio today.
He's not.
Biff's in here right now.
I know he is. It was this fucking sewn together ear.
Mummy Biff. Biffenstein.
Behaving over there.
Franken
For
Biff.
once in his fucking life.
Yeah.
Tomorrow he's getting those stitches cut out of his ear.
Yeah? You gonna do it yourself?
No, Kent's doing it.
Oh, okay.
He's coming over. Our medic from Sencal,
Yeah.
professional wrestling, our medic that we have on staff, is going to come do it for me because I'm already... This is the most fucking expensive free dog. You know, that's why he's all in all the fucking posters and stuff. I got to get my money back
That's
somehow.
right. Work it out of him.
I got this dog for free.
Take it out on his ass.
I had to pay like $1,500 in medical bills when I first got him because he had all this fucking shit wrong with him. Ear infections, eye infections, all this worms, all the shit. Like $1,500, right? Now, another fucking $600 for this ear incident, which Boomer bit in his ear, but he's at fault. Because
we blame victims at the post-mortem show.
Yeah, we're victim shaming. Biff, fuck you. He started it, you know.
Yeah.
He is the instigator all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Boomer never fought any other dog but Biff. Let's put it that way. So yeah, fuck you, Biff. But we're back with the top 5 French horror movies of all time. So, I think this list is going to have a lot of crossover. We're probably going to have most of the same films on the list. Maybe in a different ranking. I'm sure maybe we'll all agree on number 1. But I do have a 0, and I'll get there.
All right.
I have a 0 for you. You may hate me after I say it, but I have a 0. As is the custom, the guest goes first. So what's your number 5?
My number 5, I'm sure it's going to be pretty hit or miss with anyone who's seen it. It's just kind of like tiptoeing the lines of horror.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like suspense, maybe thriller, drama, and that'd be Calvaire.
Dude, in my research, almost made my list. I think it was on my honorable mentions. Turns out, although it comes in all these fucking French lists that I found online, it's from Belgium. Did you know? Yeah.
Really?
That's what I researched all this list, and somebody's like, "This is from Belgium. It's not France." Everyone keeps saying it's French. It's from
Is
Belgium.
it a reputable person that said that shit?
Probably someone from Belgium, I would imagine.
Yeah, they liked it so much they wanted it to fucking be
you know
from
what
there.
though? If it's a French writer and a French director, then it's a fucking French movie.
Then my number 0 can pass.
And my number 5 can pass as well.
Okay.
My number 5, probably my only semi-controversial addition to this list, but I love this movie, and it's directed by someone French, written by someone French, filmed in France, and partially backed by a French studio, and that's Silent Hill.
Really?
Yeah, directed by Christophe Gans, written by Nicolas Boukiff, and filmed in France and French Canada.
I had no idea that it was filmed in France.
Yeah.
But,
Fuck me neither.
Yeah.
That cannot pass at all. That's a video game. It's not a movie.
No, it's a movie.
Well, shouldn't it? I would think that it'd be like initial release would be in France. That'd be one of the things.
It was a worldwide release, though.
Really?
We're pretty loosey-goosey right here.
And
Pretty
yeah,
easy going.
like I said, this is going to be my only controversial one here. But
My number 5, Friday the 13th.
yeah,
There's one. Okay, so one of the
because
one of the supporting actors.
Yeah.
This is way too loose.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about. Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, there's an actor. He got his debut. His name is Kevin Bacon. Bacon. And he's he was his grandmother through marriage, not his real grandmother, but through marriage. It was French. So Friday the 13th, Kevin Bacon. No, that's not my number 5. I'm fucking with you. He's starting to get actually mad right now. Like, fuck you guys. I just did all this research.
I tried to be all strict with mine.
I just drove a half an hour each way. I did all this research,
I'm gonna throw rubber in there.
My number 5, my real number 5, is actually another movie that you suggested to me that I don't think a lot of people have seen. I don't think it gets its due. La Muerte, a.k.a. The Pack. Remember The Pack?
Yes.
Feeding the ghouls
I
coming
forgot
out from
about
under
that,
sun.
yeah.
So fucking good, and nobody talks about it. I love that movie.
Well,
it's super brutal, and it's very gritty. Like, the way it's filmed and the way the gore's and stuff, and some of the best creatures, not necessarily polished effects or anything like that, but just the way they do it.
Yeah.
The things that come from the ground. Very creepy, terrifying. If you guys haven't seen The Pack, it's like M-E-U-T-E is the French title.
Yeah, it's a good flick.
It's worth checking out, and I don't think we've it's on my top 100, I think, on our website, but I don't think we've, and if you guys haven't seen, we have if you go to our website, postmortemshow.com/top 100, me and Dom give our top 100 horror movies of all time. We did it years ago. I mean, this is episode 88, and we did it when we first started, so there's many things we've seen. We watch a lot of horror movies, especially since we started doing the show. You know, I used to watch some of the same movies all the time. I haven't fucking watched Reanimator in since we've done the show.
Wow.
Because all my time is devoted to watching new movies that I don't even watch some of my favorite movies anymore. So, there's a lot that can be added to that top 100, but it made my top 100. I really like this movie, so you guys check out The Pack.
Number 4.
Number 4. These number 4 and number 3 kind of flip-flopped a few times. But I would say because of the ending, I would have to say my number 4 is High Tension.
My number 4 as well.
That's
super intense, I thought.
head fucking, head crushing with a fucking
ending
dresser.
was pretty shitty, but I think that High Tension has probably one of the most horrific scenes in a horror movie.
Yeah,
you know, just with the buzzsaw in the car and the screaming and the blood.
Also, the head stuck between the fucking
dresser thing. Yeah,
High Tension is like the gateway drug of French horror movies.
It is.
Like, you got to watch the unedited. Unrated
of
version.
course. All the movies we ever talk about, you have to watch the unrated.
Yeah, don't watch the fucking Showtime version.
Yeah, watch the director's cut for sure.
You'll be like, that's his number 4. Fucking bounce that guy.
Yeah, High Tension was the first of the French New Extreme, as they call it. Yes. That was the first one that I saw.
I got to see it in the theater.
Nice.
I can see our listeners are writing and emailing us. You know what? You need to see Ilya back to Georgia. High Tension? No.
It's not. It's still a fucking good movie.
No, it's fucking amazing. I love
it's entry level, but it's fucking good.
It's really suspenseful. Yeah. The thing is, there are just like odd little things when I watched it, like the fucking cutting off with a hand. Like, why the fuck? Why'd you do that shit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely good. It's a good fucking movie, and although it may be like the face of that new wave of French extreme horror, which most of my movies are that new wave of French extreme horror, you can go back in time, there's some good oldies, but nothing compares to that. No, like you were saying,
that time period
of French horror movies, nothing really compares to that. You know, as far as in all horror, as far as brutality, swift brutality. You know, like my favorite decade is 85 to 95 horror. One of our listeners, I wish I could. Sorry, dude, if you're listening and I don't say your name, but posted on what's your decade, favorite decade of horror. And I know we were all talking about. Jason's an admin on our new Facebook group with us as well. He posts some stuff out there. He was asking about what's your favorite time in horror, and I know you said yours was that new wave of French extreme, and I gotta agree. If I'm going for quality,
some really good
85 to 95 for sentimental reasons.
Yeah, if you're taking nostalgia out of it and just like having the film quality just on its own, I mean, nothing really compares to it. I mean, the only thing that I would say would be the grittiness of the 70s. Because there are some pretty mean, gnarly.
If you talk about like I Spit on Your Grave, Left on Your Left, and stuff like that,
there's some gnarly
thing is, though, for like when we get the Grindhouse movies now, we're getting the cream of the crop. A lot of shit came out in that time period. With this new wave of French horror movies, it was all just consistently good shit coming out.
Yeah, there was a couple of stinkers that kind of got their way in that are talked about. Like when I pulled up some of these lists, there were some movies that I saw, and I'm like, fuck that. That is not. You know, there were some lists I saw that were like top 20, top 50 French horror movies, so they're grasping at straws.
Yeah.
We got a top 5, we're going to have a lot of crossover,
yeah.
But like when you're going top 50, like some of those movies don't deserve to be on top 50 anything. But
not only that, but you take like 10 different people making these lists, and I mean, tastes fucking range, you know, for different reasons.
All right, so
it's just like when you see those like Time Life fucking music compilations.
Yeah.
There's always those two that are like, what the fuck? How did they fucking put that shit in there?
Yeah. Why is Nirvana on the best metal band of all time? You know, like
my favorite one is Bum Rock.
Bum Rock?
Lime Tife presents Bum Rock.
Lime Tife.
Dude,
look it up on YouTube.
I'll buy it
Bum
just
Rock.
for the fucking title.
It's all music about bones. Oh yeah, I'm so homeless. Look it up on YouTube.
Shut the fuck up.
That might be our end song
Really?
in this episode. Lime Tife.
Nice. My number 4 is Inside.
Number 4.
Yeah.
That's my number 2.
For me, it's only going
we just
up
pile
from
on.
there.
We'll talk about it now. Like he'll say number 4. Like this is the way it works. Like if you have a later number, we'll talk about it later. But you can say it's your number 2, and then when we get there, we'll all talk about it. So
yeah, we'll talk about it when we
number
get
3
number 2.
for you.
My number 3 is Frontiers.
Mine too.
Me too.
Yep.
Across the board, number 3.
Fantastic fucking horror film.
Frontier parenthesis. Yes.
Very bloody.
Yeah.
Very bloody.
And fucking unrelenting once it starts. You know, that scene where she has to go under the nasty water and she's all like she's gonna go fucking septic, you know.
You know, if you think about like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that'd be like the American equivalent to Frontiers, like the original. The way it is with like a weird family and this whole this whole thing.
It's just in America we have rednecks and they have Nazis.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'll say that might be controversial to a lot of our listeners. Texas Chainsaw Massacre definitely a classic. Frontiers is a French better version of that story.
Yep. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was breaking new ground with what it was doing. Frontiers had time to study the masters and really make it there. But it's a very French version of it, And
then again, sort of similar to The Pack, I don't think that Frontiers gets the love that like a High Tension gets, like the press and people, thinking that like that movie's fucking awesome and talking about it. So,
well, really, I was kind of turned off on it at first, only because it was with the what the hell were those 8 movies to die for?
Yeah.
Remember that series that came out every year?
Oh,
and
horrible.
All those are pretty
There's a couple
shitty.
that were good, like
and the only reason that I even watched this one back then was because I guess it got banned from one of the festivals for being too violent. Yeah. So I was like, okay, fine. So I'll give it a shot, and I ended up because back then, I mean, I wasn't downloading fucking movies. It was like you read reviews and then you wait for like 10 months for something to get to the United States.
Yeah, you can't just stream things and buy it off
and
of
then you
iTunes.
fucking buy it from Amazon when it comes out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of where that was. Yeah. And I'm glad that I bought it. It was really good.
I slept on it until last year, actually. And then
we talked about it on
you talked about how good it was.
I think it was on my Power Tool kills.
Yeah.
It was on my top 5 Power Tool deaths. That scene.
And then, so I'm glad I checked it out. And it took a minute still for me to get into it because the version I got, the subtitles on it were so bad that I was like, "Fuck, this is." I don't know what's okay.
The subtitles are bad on all the versions. Yeah. It's not. You can tell like the American subtitles, but it still works because like I'd rather have bad subtitles than bad dubbing. Bad dubbing,
for sure.
Subtitles, at least, even if the sentence structure is bad, and it's kind of like this isn't how Americans talk.
I couldn't figure out what was going on at first, because the subtitles were so bad. But then once it picked up. And they got out of because there's a political talk in the beginning, and it was the political talk that I didn't understand because it was bad subtitles mixed with I don't know what the fucking French political climate is.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on. Yeah.
But once it got past that and got into the nitty gritty of the movie, the monkey and pewies of it, as we say, it's a fucking good movie.
Have you seen Witching and Bitching? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw that a while ago.
So that is like a non-serious version of this movie from a different country, like with the whole restaurant scene, that whole thing, like. There's some aspects of that movie and Texas Chainsaw in all 3 of these movies, and I would rank Frontiers as the best of all. So by far. So
yeah, I would say by far. Witching and Bitching, I couldn't really get into. I was kind of like in and out on that one.
I love it. I love that fucking movie. And I like it.
A little too silly for me. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, but you don't like horror comedy at all.
I do.
And I love my favorite genre other than anthology horror is horror comedy. But these movies, like some of these movies on this list, transcend. Like if I say horror comedy is one of my favorite genres, hardly any horror comedies compare to any of these movies because they're so fucking good and well made. You know what I mean? I like a great horror comedy, but I hate
a lazy horror. A lazy horror comedy.
Like I love Reanimate.
Yeah.
It's a horror comedy. I fucking love that. It's my favorite movie of all time, but
that was the time, though, too.
It's banned from the list. I shouldn't be talking about it yet again, but...
It's also your favorite French movie.
Yeah. It's my number 0. God damn it. Why'd you gotta spoil it? You know that initial scene when he goes over there? It was in France.
His name is Herbert. That's a French name.
Herbert. All right, so wait. We agree
on 3 for Frontiers.
All right, that's back to you. Number 2 for you.
My number 2 is Inside.
My number 2 is also Inside.
I think Inside is one of the best horror movies ever made. It's fucking amazing.
It's home invasion meets revenge meets, there's so many different...
With a twist.
With a twist, and there's gray area as well. Like we were saying, Landmine Goes Click, there's a gray area, but the fucking gore and the scissors and just the whole
the spear.
And
was it a lamppost? What the fuck was that? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but not just the scissors and the gore and how well made the movie is, just a little something.
There's a real tension to it.
Yeah, it's cringeworthy also.
Yeah. But you look at a movie, okay, you look at mainstream movies like The Conjuring, Insidious, things like that, all right, and they have this, there's a presence in the room, you can see it, it's in the shadows, it comes down to you, like the fucking nun thing they had and stuff like that.
Never saw it.
They never, ever get to that level of the shadow of that woman outside of the house, and she's talking, but you can't see, you can't see her face and stuff, it's just her silhouette on the outside of the house.
Oh,
and it's the most...
when she hits the fucking glass?
Yeah, it's the most menacing fucking scene, dude.
I know.
Yeah, it's the most menacing fucking scene, and it really comes across, like those kind of movies with those jump scares and things like that, and ghosts, and they can really take a lesson from this movie, and just that scene. That scene alone, before we even got to the good stuff, had me sold on this movie. Yeah. I love this fucking movie.
Very solid movie, very tense movie.
It's on my top
10. Very
10,
real
top
movie.
100. Yeah, definitely.
So, my number 2 is Martyrs.
Your number 2 is Martyrs.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Martyrs.
We'll talk about it when we get to number 1 then.
What's your number 1?
My number 1, and I personally believe that this is the greatest horror film ever made. To the current standard, of course. I mean, they're always like the classics, but in my opinion, this is the greatest horror movie, and really, I don't think anything comes close to it, and that's Martyrs.
Yeah. Dude, we had the same exact list except for number 5. And you too, Dom. Like, we were all pretty much, it's like I said, the same movies. I knew we were going to have a lot of crossover.
At first I thought, I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then when I thought about it, I was like, shit, they're all going to be the same.
Yeah, but guess what? We get to talk about some good fucking movies. Who cares if we don't have different lists?
Well, and we all have different perspectives on what we like.
Yeah.
It's my number 1 is different from you guys. As Martyrs is my number 2, but
what's your number 1 then?
My number 1 is Irreversible.
Irreversible, all right. I put on my honorable mentions because it should have made my fucking list. I put on my honorable mentions because there's horrific elements, but I wouldn't consider it a horror movie. I would consider it like more of an exploitation, and I wanted to really nail it down to French horror. I love Irreversible. It's a fucking hard watch. If you guys haven't seen Irreversible,
it's fucking
you'll never
nasty.
forget about Latenya.
Yeah.
The tapeworm.
Yeah.
Latenya.
It's just, I think the movie, and honestly, it and Martyrs are...
It's definitely horrific.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the new wave of French horror is it's more horrific, and it's more, gritty and down to earth and real. And honestly, it and Martyrs could be side by side.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, it is that good to where it's on the level of Martyrs, but I put Martyrs as my number 1, and I put that on my honorable mention because... Honestly, because I wanted to make room for the pack. I could add Irreversible on the list, but people don't know about the pack, and you got to see it. La Muerte, the pack. So
you know what's really funny about Irreversible, too, is at the time when it first came out on DVD, Amy was working at the warehouse in Lompoc.
Uh-huh.
And so, I told her I wanted to watch it, so she brought it home. It's funny, too, because I was working at the bar at that time. And I wouldn't get home till like 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And I couldn't wait to see this goddamn movie. So like, she brought it home and I watched it at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this, I'm not waiting
till
until
5:30. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is like, she ended up watching it also. Not that time, I don't think. But whenever people would return it, she would ask them, oh, how was this? She wouldn't, probe too much, but she'd be like, oh, how was this? Just to see what people would say about it. Mm-hmm. And, like, over half the people didn't even get past that first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, like, they were, like, fucking totally offended by it. And it's true. It's a fucking nasty movie.
Not just that, but, like,
horrible.
okay,
my God.
It's like the good version of... Memento's an okay movie, but it's a good version of Memento where it's, like, told backwards into pieces and you have to understand. But the way... I listened to an interview with... or typewritten, translated to English interview with Gaspar Noé. And... what he did at the beginning, how it goes backwards, and he does the credits backwards and all that stuff like that when it starts. But as you start to get into the movie, the words start to twist, and it's an actual technique that he used in research to make you feel uncomfortable.
It actually disorients you.
It disorients you, and he used this technique to...
And the sound, like he uses the subsonic frequencies. Yeah.
combined with the twisting of the words and the spiral and all that stuff, to where like by the time it happens, you're just like so uncomfortable already.
It's a work of art and psychology on top of being a good movie.
Yeah, not only that, but it's the way he would do the same thing in between scenes. There was no real cutting from one scene to the next. It was almost like a swirl of the camera, and then you come down in another place.
Yeah.
You know, that is a true work of art as far as film goes. But if you haven't seen it, there are two scenes of just
the fire extinguisher and the
fucking brutality,
prolonged anal rape. Yeah, just like grandma's old-fashioned prolonged anal rape.
There are not very many movies that make me like turn the volume down on the TV just because I'm worried about what the neighbors think.
Yeah,
but that
the noises Monica Bellucci is making,
was so ugly. That was just such an ugly sound.
There's a lot of movies that have a lot of violence in them, and you see just all this gore, and it's awesome. This movie makes its fucking point with only 2 violent scenes.
And just the grittiness of like...
And you see it. That's the thing, too. They're not shying away from it.
Yeah. And it's very dark, like, okay, when they're like in the little club thing and everything, it's very dark and gritty, and you feel like, I don't want to be... I shouldn't be here. Like, you're in a place you shouldn't be.
You're going to find a place called a person called the tapeworm here, and maybe get an actual tapeworm.
Like, you feel bad about yourself watching it like you're there. Yeah. No other movie has ever made me feel that way. Like,
maybe
I hope no one walks in right now.
August Underground,
you know what I mean?
Kind of
feeling. August Underground Boredom kind of does that too, but but Irreversible is so good. It's by far his best film to me.
I would say that followed by Enter the Void.
I thought Enter the Void was pretty good, but Irreversible was the first movie that I saw of his. So since then, nothing has even came close, because that's like a masterpiece, you know. Enter the Void is also good, like, and then you got like shit like Love. I fucking hated that movie. It was just dicks coming.
Have you seen I Stand Alone?
I Stand Alone is great. Yeah, I like it as well. I like everything he made except for Love, but by far Irreversible stands head and shoulders and even feet above the rest. You know,
it's definitely a landmark film.
All right, and then the last movie, Dom's number 2 and our number 1, Martyrs.
Fuck, man.
What can you say?
Fuck, man. It's another one of those movies that you're like, oh, fuck, they did it.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're doing that?
Yeah.
And
it just comes...
We're hard to shock.
It comes out
we're hard to surprise.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, just the beginning when she runs out, just the way she looks, like the fucking acting in this movie.
Yeah.
The fucking flopping of the feet, the screaming, just a frantic look.
Yeah.
She looks like it captures you instantly.
And it feels real even though it's polished. Like, it's a polished movie, but it's still, everything feels totally authentic.
So just to reference Texas Chainsaw Massacre again, you know, at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre where Marilyn Chambers is just screaming and crying
and looks nuts,
truck, and that's what made that movie so good to me. But she's like a fucking, if you had to rate her, if the beginning of Martyrs where she comes out and everything like that is a 10, then the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be like a 4.5.
Yeah.
As far as the level, it's just like on another level. The
intense.
acting in the movie, especially the Mademoiselle, was so one of the creepiest characters.
Yeah.
We did our top 5 creepy characters or creeps, and I didn't even have her on my list, but she should have made it. You know, she's fucking terrifying.
And the special effects are so real.
So
the
everything
skinned
about
bodies, you know. It's,
the plate in the head and stuff like that, and just that character. And then the almost like ghost psychic, you know, that whole thing. We're not gonna. If you haven't seen Martyrs, I'm sure everyone that's listening, we've talked about it. Many times.
And not the American version. Yeah, fuck the American version.
I've never even watched the American version.
Dude, I did it for the show. I did it for the good of the show.
Oh man,
I did it because I'm a masochist.
I subjected myself to it for the good of the show. And it hurt me.
You watched it all the way to the end, though, right?
Yes, I watched it all.
I didn't watch it all the way to the end.
Because I reviewed it, so I watched it all, and it hurt me. A little piece of me died that day. A small little piece died.
It molested his inner child.
I lost a section of my liver intestine. So Martyrs, check Martyrs out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure everyone listening.
Yeah, I'll say as far as honorable mentions, of course, Irreversible. It's up there with everything that we said. It's just I just considered it more of a drama than a horror movie, but it is extremely horrific. And another one also, and some people might think this is fucking stupid, but I would say Rubber.
I love
Rubber's
Rubber.
French?
I fucking loved Rubber.
I didn't know it was
French?
French, but I love that
Well,
movie.
I mean, Quentin Dupieux. I mean,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
French. I
yeah.
mean, there's like that chick was French.
Yeah.
There's a lot of French involved.
And
Yeah.
it's a very European movie too, just like in the way it approaches cinema and all that. I love that movie. Yeah,
I think that movie is like one of the biggest mindfucks.
And also one of the least promising concepts and posters and synopsises of a movie that you can see. A tire goes on a killing rampage.
Yeah.
A tire with thoughts of its own goes on a killing rampage. Like, what the fuck?
This is when he
I
fucking,
would never
this is
want
when
to
he
watch
fucking blows that rabbit up. Get the fuck out of here.
And the way they shoot the tire, like the tire has
Yeah.
emotion. Like you can see the tire, like after it blows the rabbit up, like you can kind of see the tire going, "What the fuck? Cool,
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
tire."
even just like the coming of age music when it's like learning to roll and
Yeah.
has like that flute.
And when it's watching the girl in the shower,
Yeah, it
That
is.
is fucking amazing. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I never even saw the French influence though.
Well, actually, the guy that made it made a couple films in France that were only in French. You know.
I have to find those now because that's a great fucking movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you have any more honorable mentions?
Let me see. No,
If
I
not,
can't
I'm gonna hit him. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I've got a few too. Yeah.
All right.
High Tension was on my honorable mentions. Brotherhood of the Wolf. I really like that
Yeah,
movie.
so that was a good one.
I've never
Okay,
seen that.
I'll call that more action.
Yeah, that's
but-
why- that's
but
why-
actually,
Werewolf?
You
Yeah.
know what? The guy that made what was your
Christoph
list again?
Gans, yeah, he made it. He
What-
made Silent Hill.
Yes, same
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
It's a good
It's
movie.
really good.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to check that
it's
fucker
a
out, maybe.
Native American guy goes to France during the Revolution, and there's werewolves. It is more of an action movie, which is why it was more honorable mention for me. La Mort Vivante, aka Living Dead Girl, another good kind of just straight up French slasher movie from the '90s.
Never seen it.
They tried to make it more of an American style movie.
Yeah,
but it's,
I hate that. I hate
yeah.
when it's like, like I want to be the French Steven Spielberg
Yeah.
or something. You know what I mean? Like
But
I
it's-
hate that kind of thing.
It's
like,
still a good movie though.
when they draw on the culture and stuff like that, it makes for a better movie. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like an American making The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise or something. You know what I mean? It's like what do they say on Chappelle's show? Tom Hanks in The Last Black Man on Earth. or
Yeah.
something. It's just like inappropriating cultures.
And then my last honorable mention is more of an exploitation film. It's called Baissez-moi, which means fuck me.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that.
I've seen that too.
Yeah.
I don't really care for it because I thought it was just more like, okay, so I'll compare it to Love. It's just like, let's show dicks and pussies and stuff like that.
Yeah, 'cause all the
Let's show
sex
real
scenes were real.
scenes.
Yeah.
And that's how we're extreme because we show real sex scenes. Guess what? You can watch any fucking porn in
Yeah.
the world if you want.
I-
Everyone can get
Yeah,
new
but,
porn on
but,
their
there, but
phone.
there's no mix. I mean, the porno is not going to be as well made of a movie.
Yeah, it
right?
had a good story, and like the actresses were porn actresses, like they do actual like hardcore porn movies too. But like they had a good like
No, it was
there
alright.
there was
I
a
just-
story and a revenge element, and
I thought it leaned too heavily on we're going to feature graphic sex. You know what I mean? Like, there's movies that do feature, like, I would say that, like, Thriller, They Call Her One Eye is a better movie than that. You know that
The what?
They Call Her One Eye? Thriller? A cruel
that?
Thriller, a cruel picture? The girl with the eye patch and she gets all drugged up and raped and it shows, like, graphic sex scenes and stuff like that, but it's an exploitation movie from the 80s. Check it out.
I
If you
think I've
haven't
seen it. No,
you need to
I've
see
seen
it.
it,
Then.
really?
You need to see it. Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Sweet Sweetback's badass song.
Yeah. Any other honorable mentions?
No, that's it.
No, I mean, if people would just Google, the new French Extremity,
Yeah.
I mean, all these movies will pop up. And I would
For
say
sure.
just watch whatever you think is going to interest you.
Yeah.
You know?
My first honorable mention is a movie that is new. Raw. Raw is fucking good.
Raw
is
seen it yet.
excellent,
It's a
dude.
great movie.
Raw
I
is
really like.
excellent.
You haven't seen it? It's
No.
on Netflix now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, check it
Okay.
out, dude. It's so fucking good. I gave it like a 9 or something.
Yeah, you gave it a high rating,
8.5
yeah.
or something like that. When I reviewed it, but yeah, it's fucking really good. And
That's the one that
deserves
was
to
like
make
turning
the
people's
honorable
stomachs in the theaters, right?
mention. Yeah, and I often when I hear that kind of stuff, people are leaving, people are throwing up.
Yeah.
I
Fainting.
think
Yeah.
I think when I hear that kind of shit, I think that's a gimmick.
Yeah.
We're going to say this and we're going to do this and maybe we'll put plants and make them do this so it is real.
Yeah. Like they did in the fucking 50s with the castle pictures and shit like
Yeah,
that.
fuck
Yeah.
that, man.
I don't
But
know.
Raw actually held up. There's a really, really good scene about a period. That's all I'm going to put. That's all I'm going to say. But it's fucking
Well, there are just a lot of good. It's a good movie. It's a very well-made movie, and there's
Yeah.
some good gore.
sympathetic, too. Very sympathetic.
Elements. Yeah.
Raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as a vegetarian myself, and she's a vegetarian, and she gets the taste of meat and goes fucking crazy. It's like, wow, it's a very interesting concept. So I really liked it. So
Yeah, well, if you ever try meat, let me know, and I'll stay away from you for like a year.
I've had plenty of it as a kid, so I think that wouldn't be a problem. So Irreversible, In My Skin. Have you guys seen In My Skin?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw the beginning of it, and I did not finish it for some reason.
It's all right. It's not a top 5, but it's same with Livid. Livid is not.
Livid's really good, dude.
It's not on
I
par.
forgot
with,
about that.
It's
one,
not on par with our top 5 though. Like with the movies that we've talked about, it's not quite there, but it deserves an honorable mention.
The visuals are very good, though. The visuals are really good.
Yeah, as does Trouble Every Day.
Trouble Every Day is good.
Trouble Every Day is a good movie too, but I saved the 0. You guys kind of forgot, huh? Kind of forgot I had a 0.
No, I was gonna bring it up.
Dom put Silent Hill, as a 0. Silent Hill, it had some. It's got French in it. So this movie is filmed in France with all American actors. I think maybe the actress is French. There are some French actors. I take it back. But An American Werewolf in Paris, the sequel to American Werewolf in London, is the greatest French. I'm just kidding. Everyone, you guys just give me that fucking look like, are you fucking? You put that above Martyrs? You got to see 6 wolf boobs. I saw that in the theater.
I never saw the American Wolf in Paris.
Really? It's worth a watch.
It's
you
like
wouldn't
American
like
Werewolf
it.
in
Well,
London.
here's the thing. There was a time where I refused to watch any American horror.
You would hate it.
Okay.
It's a horror comedy, and it has a lot of bad CGI from the 90s.
Yeah, was there like
that,
a dude falling from the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, and all that shit. It's
commercial?
stupid.
But there is a great wolf transformation where she transforms in the middle of sex and has 6 hairy wolf
she's
tits.
riding him.
Really?
Riding
Yeah.
him. Right. That's the best part of the whole movie, and I put it on my awkward boners list when we did our awkward boners. Because I was a little kid, I saw this at the theater. I'm like, oh, tits. She's riding him. I'm like,
6
I'm
of
like,
them.
I'm like semi-hard, I'm like, oh yeah, ride it. And then as a little kid, I'm like saying that at the theater. My mom's like flicking me. That's inappropriate. Stop. No, she wasn't there.
And then she transforms,
But
and you're like,
she
makes me wish I
transforms,
had
and
6
she's riding him
hands.
with 6 fucking wolf boobs. Like all of a sudden he looks up at her again after he kind of takes us away, like in the throes of passion, takes his eyes away from her for a second, looks back up, and it's 6 fucking wolf titties, all hairy and shit like that, like she's transformed while she's fucking him. And that's the silver lining.
That's the apex of that movie.
And,
Yeah, it's all downhill from there.
movie, starring C. Thomas Howell. Does not deserve to make any of our
And it's
lists,
funny that
but-
his last name is Howell and he's in a wolf movie.
They started this shit on purpose.
All right, so that's it for our top 5 French movies.
What's
Thank
your
you.
0?
That was the 0. I was just joking.
Oh.
It was an ironic 0.
It was a joke. Come on. He doesn't get jokes. That's why he doesn't like horror comedy. Fucking Ilya. Top 5 French movies, as suggested by our listener Marc Bartlett, who suggested horror movies from a specific region or country. Hope you like the top 5 French movies, Mark. And we will do another one down the list. We got Japan, we got England. This is a only listener suggestion that will get multiple lists, but we're going to space them out. So we're going to get
Did our listener have honorable mentions of his own?
He didn't send a list. He didn't, because he said top
Oh, he
5
just did
movies from-
international, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't tell him we're doing French, send a list or anything like that. We'll come back to it. I'll mention them every time. And next week, maybe we'll go back to more of a meat and potatoes list. Top 5.
A monkey and Pee-wee's list.
A monkey and the Pee-wees. So, but that's it.
Awesome.
That's it. Thank you for coming on. Once
Thanks
again,
for having me. I will be back next year.
Yeah.
Possibly before.
possibly before, at least early October, if not. So,
All right, well, as H.P. Lovecraft once said, as he passed his AIDS test after having sex with Nosferatu Billy Corgan, if it smells like fish,
throw the fucker back.
9!
Now's the time our sprockets when we dance. That's all the time we have. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen.
Peter, would you leave me some gas? We're meeting some gas later.